Hey guys, so in today's video we are going to talk about what it takes to get to £100,000, and we're going to talk about this from the perspective of saving your way to £100,000, but we're also going to talk about this in terms of investing your way to £100,000. And the reason why I've decided to do this video is because £100,000 is that official six-figure number that people look up to, try to achieve, feel like they've made it somewhat in life. And so I thought it would be really good to do a video which will break that down to see what it actually looks like in order to achieve that amount of money saved or invested for yourself. One thing that I have found with my personal finance journey is that it is so important to understand what it takes to get to whatever goal that I want to achieve. So for instance, saying I want to save £10,000 is fantastic, but what does it actually take in order for me to save £10,000? How much do I need to save per month? For how long do I need to save, etc.? And so I'm hoping this video will just give you a snapshot, if that is ever your goal, to reach £100,000. Hopefully this video will be encouragement for you. So today we are going to use the calculator site, and we are using the compound interest calculator. And this is just taken into account that if you were to save or invest this money, you would leave it to then continue to earn interest. So whatever interest you earn would continue to earn interest. So that's what this compound calculator is. So for the purposes of this video, let's start with saving our way to £100,000. Now, you probably already realised that it's going to take some time to get there, because savings accounts currently are at all-time low interest rates. So it's not exactly going to be the easiest way to save your way to £100,000, but let's just have a look to see what it is. So we're going to assume that we're going to start with an initial balance of £0. So let's say we've got absolutely nothing saved so far. And we're going to assume an interest rate of 1.5%. Now, this is actually currently quite on the high side in terms of interest for savings accounts, but there are some that are available for that. We're just going to say 1.5% if you find a high yield savings account, and we'll leave it like that. Okay, and because I've already done all these calculations beforehand, I already know what the years will be, but we're going to start with a deposit amount of £100 a month. So essentially, how many years would it take us to achieve £100,000 if we saved £100 a month and we started with a balance of £0 and we had a yearly interest rate of 1.5%? But also, an important thing that I've included in this calculator is an annual inflation rate of 2%. Now, this means that hopefully, if your salary increases over time, if you are able to increase your savings every year by 2%, then you're kind of keeping in pace with inflation. Although right now inflation is much higher than that. So really the goal should always be to increase your savings and increase your investments in the same way that your salary increases. So don't just increase your lifestyle but not increase your savings. You should really be trying to increase both at the same time. So we can see that over 42 years you would have approximately £103,520 that you have saved. £25,000 of that would be interest earned, and this is an effective annual rate of 1.5%. So if we look down here, we can see the projection over the years. So every year you're depositing £1,200 in total for the year, but as you can see, each year it goes up slightly because you're having that 2% annual inflation. So you can see it's not even a huge amount. So the first year is £1,200, the second year is £1,224. So it's not a huge amount, but it's really what you should be aiming to do. But as you can see, it takes a long time to get there. So we start with a balance of £0 and we work our way all the way down, and over 42 years is how long it will take you to reach £100,000. And this is just through the method of saving. Now, 42 years is a long time, but at the same time, if you're starting your saving journey at 20 years old, then by 60 you would be able to save your way to 62, you'd be able to save your way to £100,000. But of course, it's not the most optimal, but it shows that it is possible even if you're only able to save £100 a month. Now let's go to £200 a month. So we're keeping all the other variables the same interest rate. So now we've got £102,496 over 27 years. So this is how long it would take over this time. And as I said, now it's £200 a month. So roughly £2,400 a year when you first start. And over the years, this would increase up until the 27th year when you are saving £4,000 per year. So 27 years, again, quite a long time, but it does show you that you don't need to save a huge amount of money. You don't need to save £1,000 a month in order to achieve £100,000 if you're willing to dedicate a couple of decades to saving to reach that goal. Now let's go to £300. So we're going to raise this to £300. And so for £300, we can see that it takes 20 years in order to reach that £100,000 mark. And that's saving £300 a month. And yeah, that savings interest rate of 1.5%. So of course, as the amount goes up that you're able to save per month, the years start to shave down. So it first started with 42 years for £100 a month, 27 years for £200 a month, 20 years for £300 a month. Let's check out what it would take for £400 a month. So for £400 a month, it would take approximately 16 years to achieve this. So you'd have a £100,000 pot at the end of 16 years. So that's 4 years less than the £300 a month. So just by increasing it to that £100 a month, you can shave off 4 years to reach that goal. And last but not least for savings, let's have a look at £500 per month. And so at £500 a month, you can see between year 13 and year 14, you would reach that £100,000 mark, and you would have earned a total of £9,380 in interest. So as you can see, that interest is much lower than the interest we saw at the beginning, because at the beginning it was over 42 years, so there was more time to earn interest, whereas there's less time here. But because the monthly deposits are higher, you would be able to achieve your goal of £100,000 within that 13 to 14 year region. Now, as you know, I always like to talk about investing on this channel. I'm a big advocate, and let's have a look and see why that is. So with investing, we are going to assume an interest rate of about 8%, and that is generally the gold standard when it comes to the stock market and what it returns on a yearly basis. That doesn't mean that every year it's going to return 8%. Some years it may return a negative number, negative 5%, but some years it may return a huge positive number, like plus 25%. So that's what we're going to put here. We're going to start with an initial balance of £0 again, and we're going to bring this back down to £100, and we're also going to keep the annual inflation rate at 2%. So again, that's increasing your investment savings every year by at least 2%. So in order to reach that £100,000 pot, it would take between 24 to 25 years in order to reach that amount. Now, of course, this is again just saving £100 a month, as we showed with the savings. But when we looked at the savings with an interest rate of 1.5%, we found that it would take approximately 42 years versus this, which could take approximately 24 to 25 years. So that is almost a 20-year, 2-decade difference in terms of how quickly you could achieve reaching this £100,000 mark. And this is the power of investing and the power of the stock market. And the beauty with the stock market is, look, the total interest earned would be around £69,538, and you know, this is just interest. This isn't anything that you've put in. So you would have deposited a total of £38,436 in this example, but you would have earned around £69,000 in interest. So most of that £100,000 pot would actually be interest earned. Now let's have a look at £200 a month. So we're going to double this and increase that to 200, and we're going to keep the same interest rate of 8%. So we can see that it will take between 17 to 18 years in order to reach that amount of around £100,000. So The total deposits over that time would be £51,000 and the total interest would be £55,000. So it's not as much as the previous example, but that's because there's less time for interest to accrue. But it does mean that you would be able to achieve that £100,000 pot within 17 to 18 years as opposed to 24 to 25 years. Now, let's increase this again to £300 a month and have a look to see what's possible. So with £300 a month, we could see that you could reach that £100,000 pot size within about 14 years. So total deposits of £57,000, total interest of around £43,000 to bring you to that £100,000 balance. And this is within a 14-year period. When you think about it on the grand scheme of things, 14 years isn't that long. And this would just be assuming that you deposit £300 a month. It is a lot of money, but it is a number that isn't so astronomical or so out there that you think, wow, I'll never be able to have a decent amount of money in my bank account. £300 a month is something that you could probably do if you're watching this channel. It's something that you could probably do if you put your mind to it. And this is the power of investing and the power of consistently investing over time. So yes, 14 years, yes, you have to deposit every month, but look what you could potentially have at the end of those 14 years. Now let's increase this to £400. So with a £400 monthly deposit, it would take approximately 12 years to reach this magic 100,000 six-figure number. As you can see, the first year you would deposit 4,800. That would increase the second year to 4,896, 4,993. So even though you're increasing it with inflation, it's actually not hugely changing. So if you are receiving at least 1 or 2% of a pay rise every year, this is very much achievable to increase your monthly deposits. Now, last but not least, let's see what a deposit of £500 a month could achieve. So if you were to deposit around £500 a month, you could achieve a pot of around £100,000 between 10 years and 11 years. So there's quite a big difference between 10 and 11. So 10 years, the balance is 97,000, whereas 11 is 113,000. But in between those 2 years, you would be able to achieve, depending on if all circumstances went according to plan, you would be able to achieve that pot size of around £100,000. Now, of course, when I'm saying you would be able to achieve, you could get this, I can't predict the future, I can't predict the stock market, but this is something that has been happening for decades, centuries. People have been making use of the stock market to build their wealth, and this right here shows you the power of it. It shows you that if you're able to be diligent in what you're trying to do, be diligent in your goals, have an idea of what it is that you want to achieve, it is very, very feasible and very possible. So I hope that you found this video motivational and it's given you a bit of food for thought. As I said, I think it's really important to really actually know what it is that you need to do. What it is that you need to do to get to where you want to get to. So maybe for you it's not 100,000, maybe it's 50,000, maybe it's even 10,000. But the key is to understand what it is that you need to do to get there, what it's going to take from you, and it's only really then that you can start taking tangible, meaningful action to achieve your goals. So if you want to get to know a bit more about me and my plan for financial independence and the pot of money that I'm hoping to achieve in the next couple of decades, then you can check out this video linked here. Or there are lots of other personal finance videos that I talk about on this channel in terms of my journey and things that I'm doing that hopefully you will also find helpful and inspirational for you. So thank you so much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video real soon.